Here's John Scheyer, coach of the Duke Blue Devils, talking about how tough it was the way his team lost.
Well, it's hard to process still. And, I thought our guys did an incredible job the whole game. And, I thought we had some good looks, didn't finish. You have to give Houston a ton of credit. And then still, even with that, we have the lead, with under a minute to go. And I couldn't be more proud. I'm not about to hang our head. I mean, this is part of it. You gotta handle the wins, and you gotta handle the losses too. And in a moment like this, we're this close. And, we felt we were the best team. The best team tonight was Houston. I feel we were one of one in terms of the way we put this thing together. It's been a magical ride. We believed with everything we had, we were going to win a championship here. And so I feel for them because they're competitive and they're going to think about plays. I didn't help them enough. And that's where my mind goes. And I couldn't be more proud of them, though. This is part of it. This is part of it, unfortunately. We haven't been in a lot of those games, and we've watched a lot of game situations and practiced, and that's where I wish I could have helped them more.
This is the Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. We're broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios, TireRack.com. We'll help you get there. Unmatched selection, fast, free shipping, free road accident protection. Over 10,000 recommended installers, TireRack.com. It's the way tire buying should be. That was John Scheyer, and those are the exact feelings that I had multiple times. Close games in which you're like, man, we talked about it in practice, we practice it, but until you've gone through it, and to go through it on a national stage, and look, they were so much better than their league. The Clemson game was close and they lost, that there just isn't a lot of, they don't have the scar tissue that other teams have. And as much as you can say, hey, Houston had won most of their games too. The fact is that those Houston guys, most of them have been through 3 to 5, maybe even 6 college basketball seasons. So they've all suffered losses, and they know what to do instinctively late in those games. And I don't think John helped them enough. I didn't love some of the shot selection late in any way. But I also thought that some of his players got tight and stopped looking for open jump shots. Instead, defaulted to, hey, Cooper can carry us through. Here's Kelvin Sampson, head coach of Houston, of course, won the game after the game.
No one ever loses at anything as long as you don't quit. Now, when you quit, then I don't care if you've lost. Our thing in our timeouts tonight, we've been here before. It's not like we were down 20. It's not like we were playing great. We felt like if we could get it close enough to put some game pressure on them, then something good could happen. But all the credit, all the glory goes to God, and all the credit goes to these unbelievable young men I get to coach. I'm so blessed I get to coach these kids.
It's pretty cool stuff. And I can tell you, I competed against Kelvin's teams when he's at Oklahoma for 3 years, and we always felt like we had better talent. We thought we had better teams, but we struggled. We were 5-3 against him, and yet they were tough. He knew how to foster mental and physical toughness. He just really did. But that it's always interesting, the visual. At the Final Four, it's a raised floor, so your bench is sitting below you, and the head coaches are up there by themselves. But there is no island like that island of being the head coach when you're watching your team. And how quickly it happens. And I told my staff two things that really came to fruition, right? And obviously I thought we did live to that same credo that you only lose if you quit, and our guys didn't quit either. And we were in far more dire situations than them. But we talked throughout the season of what our team needs is possession getters. And there's only 2 ways in which you get possessions in college basketball. One is via steal, and 2 is with a rebound. And we just didn't have enough of that. The more possessions you get, the more shots you get, the more you can withstand shooting the ball poorly. The other part to it is that they had been there before, and you have to go through it in order to know how to go through it. And Duke had not. And there's a confidence even in the loss. The losses do harden you. What a game. What a finish. And, Duke was in so many ways the better team that night. They just couldn't close it out. And then there's this other thing that happened on Saturday night. John Scheyer is not Mike Krzyzewski, but Coach K was there. Cooper Flagg should be a high school senior. Like, he's 18 years old. He's not 19. He wasn't a holdback. And between Zion and Cooper Flagg, Duke had become likable until they lose in a fashion in which they lose. And so many, and again, this is mostly social media, which is made up of mostly the worst human beings on the face of the earth, or social media just brings out the worst in so many people. But the hatred towards Duke, it's like, remember we hated Duke? Yeah, let's hate them again. And then all of a sudden everybody's all in. It makes me feel even better about the hatred I caught this year when we're losing games. And me trying to figure out what did I do to these people? Nothing. It's one, social media, it's made easy, and then two, everybody can go to their default. And with Duke, your default is, I hate Duke. And you probably hate Duke because you couldn't play there and you might not have been able to get in there. Or even if you get in there and you couldn't play there, you couldn't afford to go there. But here's how you know that people have just this insatiable desire to pounce on Duke when they're down is you ask anybody about Wednesday's game. My son, Hayes, he had basketball this weekend, so he couldn't come to the Final Four. Well, what did he say? I can't believe Duke lost. No one says that Houston won.